We need power in this world. We need to do things. There's 7 billion people on the planet. This is a great way to provide safe energy.
Australia is experiencing an energy crisis, soaring power bills, reliability concerns, and a need for clean, emissions-free power available around the clock, not just when the sun shines or the wind blows. Solar panels sit idle half the time. Wind turbines can't generate power on still days. Meanwhile, the world's energy demand is set to double by 2050, driven by AI, data centres, emerging technologies, and population growth. While we debate, other nations are racing ahead. Tech giants like Meta, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft aren't just building the next AI algorithm. They're racing to secure nuclear power for these new developments. In September 2025, Shadow Energy and Emissions Reduction Minister Dan Tehan and Charles Kiefel travelled to the United States to see what Australia is missing. What they discovered could transform our energy future if we have the fortitude to act.
I'm Dan Tehan, I'm the Shadow Minister for Energy and Emissions Reduction, and I've just been on a fact-finding mission to the United States to look at their nuclear industry and see how we can use US know-how and develop an industry in Australia. It could provide reliable power, emissions-free power, and we could develop a brand new industry around a civil nuclear program in our country.
There's a global trend towards nuclear. For example, since 1951, the United States has practiced nuclear, and they're world's best practice now. In Europe, over 6 countries have moved to nuclear. For example, Germany have removed the prohibition. The United Nations have removed their obstacle towards nuclear. Nuclear is entering a new renaissance.
And nuclear isn't an old industry. You know, in the 40s, the US started to build a nuclear program for defence purposes. But then in the 50s, it began building a nuclear industry for civil purposes. In 1951, and we saw this, the first 4 light bulbs which were turned on because of a civil nuclear energy program. So since 1951, the US has been doing it. Surely in the 2030s, we could be doing the same in Australia. Now that'll only happen if we start now, but there is no reason why we shouldn't.
At the US Department of Energy's Office of Nuclear Energy, senior officials, including Dr. Mike Goff, briefed Dan and Charles on America's strategy, a recent $80 billion investment in nuclear energy as an immediate competitive advantage. The reasoning for this investment is simple. Nuclear is the only proven emissions-free technology that can deliver reliable power around the clock with the energy to meet the demands of modern industry and AI development.
Had 2 really fascinating meetings this morning. The first with Keoki Jackson at MIDA, which is a big research and development institution here in the US, which has over $2 billion invested in R&D, and also with Mike Goff, who is the Assistant Secretary for Nuclear Energy at the Department of Energy. It's absolutely crystal clear that nuclear is going to be one of the key energy drivers here in the United States for decades to come. And not only that, they're going to be developing partnerships right across the globe, including with over 50 different countries already, helping them to develop and enhance their civil nuclear programs. Unquestionably, Australia should be part of that.
Dan and Charles were invited to visit America's most advanced nuclear laboratories, Idaho National Laboratory and Oak Ridge National Laboratory. Idaho National Laboratory has built and operated 52 reactors across its 890 square mile complex in Idaho Falls. Today, it's pioneering a range of nuclear reactors, including small modular reactors, also known as SMRs, and microreactors. They host major developers like Westinghouse and Radiant, as well as startups like Arlo Atomics. SMRs are revolutionary because they're factory-built as modules, which allows for speedy assembly line processes. Compact, simplified designs with advanced safety features mean faster, cheaper deployment than traditional reactors. A single SMR unit generates around 300 megawatts, enough to power over 300,000 Australian homes. That's nearly double the size of Canberra.
We just had a fascinating day at the Idaho National Laboratory, and what we've learned here is not only have we seen incredible development when it comes to small nuclear reactors, SMRs, but also when it comes to micro or transportable nuclear reactors, and that the testing centre at the Idaho National Laboratory, they are at the moment proving these prototypes, and they are absolutely convinced that they will be deployed by the end of this decade.
This isn't the nuclear energy of the 1970s. This is technology designed for Australia's needs today. There are over 70 SMR projects under development worldwide, including in the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Japan, and South Korea.
We went to Knoxville, Tennessee, home of the Oak Ridge National Laboratory, and we had the most extraordinary day there.
I think nuclear energy is a great option for producing safe, abundant power. It's one of the easiest baseline power sources to get going nowadays. Of course, there's many things involved in any new power source, right? But the technology's come a long way in providing what we need to have safe, abundant energy. We need power in this world. We need to do things. There's 7 billion people on the planet. This is a great way to provide safe energy.
One of the other things that really surprises you when you visit a nuclear energy plant is how clean it is. And everyone is just walking around in normal clothes, interacting normally. Some of them have childcare centres on them. People eat their lunches there. And there's no need to wear masks or special suits or anything like that. When we're at the nuclear plant, the amount of radiation we were going to be exposed to there was far less than the radiation we were exposed to flying from Australia to the United States. All these things get put in perspective when you actually go and see.
At Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee, Dan and Charles saw the next frontier, microreactors. These are miniature nuclear reactors which generate 20 megawatts of energy and can be transported to where they're needed easily. A single unit can power 20,000 Australian homes. They are perfect for data centres and supercomputers. They can supply remote sites off the main grid, all with zero emissions. Think about the Australian applications these can have.
And the really exciting thing about microreactors are that they can fit inside a shipping container. 3 shipping containers will basically build you a microreactor. So what you can do is you can put the shipping containers on the back of a truck, take them out to remote mine sites, and you can build a microreactor, which then can mean you can power these mining sites. Australia stays wealthy, continues to export minerals to the rest of the world, all powered by nuclear.
Australians are inherently pragmatic, but our energy policy is not. Australia sits on approximately 30% of the world's uranium reserves, the largest known deposits on Earth. We mine it, we export it to other countries who use it, but we're banned from using it for ourselves.
So the nuclear ban is a piece of legislation that went through the Parliament, which basically bans us from being able to develop a civil nuclear program in Australia. Now, there are 2 great contradictions when it comes to this. We've just got bipartisan support to develop nuclear-powered submarines in this nation. So these nuclear-powered submarines will pull up to our ports, we'll have to service them, we'll have to make sure that we can deal with the nuclear waste. But not only that, we already have an existing nuclear plant in Sydney, which does medical research. So why couldn't we use nuclear power for energy when we have already nuclear-powered submarines coming our way with bipartisan support, and we have a nuclear reactor which does medical research already in the suburbs of Sydney that has bipartisan support?
I mean, if you think about developing the workforce that's going to be able to design, construct, and operate nuclear submarines, you have to have that in companion with the civil nuclear sector. That to me, that's a requirement. I realize Australia's on a path there, but I mean, that's proven for the United States.
You know, one of the fun facts about uranium is that if you take a golf ball size of uranium, that is enough energy to power your whole lifetime.
Every credible global pathway to decarbonisation includes nuclear around the world. Australia must lift the ban on nuclear power, create a fit-for-purpose regulatory framework, and unlock thousands of high-skilled jobs for our clean energy future.
Imagine building a brand new industry like a nuclear industry. The jobs, the high-paying jobs. We could do research and development. We could provide expertise to the rest of the globe about how you develop a nuclear industry. Think about the construction of the plants. Think about the running of the plants. Think about the industries which then come piggybacking off these brand new nuclear sites.
This is a tremendous opportunity for the capital markets to find new investment opportunities, appropriately structured, and there will be a win-win for all parties if it's done properly, and it can be done.
I mean, exponentially, it would lead to an increase in our economy, an increase in jobs, an increase in incomes, and an increase in our standard of living. And the other thing you can do with regards to the financing of it and the safety aspects of it is you can say, all right, we'll also ensure the government has to take a golden share.
My recommendation that I would give is that it has a majority Australian ownership, including employees, and a strategic operator that has proven record.
And that enables you to make sure that the safety's in place, and it means that you can also dictate the type of capital that's being used to invest into your nuclear industry.
What came out of the trip which surprised me, there was the Southern Company, which is the largest investor-owned electric utility in the United States with a market capitalisation in excess of $100 billion. When they originally started the first nuclear plants, Vogtle 1 and 2, they aimed for a payback period of about 35 years, but they delivered within 11 years.
These are smart ways to develop an industry which is low cost, not done, as our opponents would say, with this first-in-kind technology, because there's not a need to do that.
Well, the source of equity, first, that's ownership structure, and that really depends on government policy to set that policy on where they're going to source owners.
We've spoken to climate scientists, to expert energy operators, you know, the practitioners here in the US, whose knowledge is extraordinary. And they've absolutely made it clear. Nuclear will have to be part of the global solution and will have to be part of Australia's solution.
Authorised by Dan Tehan, Liberal Party, Hamilton.